Hello, my name is Ajhar Hussain, and welcome to my Criminology 101 presentation. Today, I'll be analyzing The Wolf of Wall Street through the lens of criminological theories. This 2013 film, directed by Martin Scorsese, highlights the rise and fall of Jordan Belfort, a stockbroker who builds immense wealth through his fraudulent activities. The film jumps into the toxic culture of greed and corruption at Stratton Oakmont, his company, showcasing its devastating impacts on individuals and society. Throughout this presentation, I'll focus on key parts of the film while applying two theories, strain and labeling theory, to help us better understand Jordan's criminal behavior and its consequences. First, let's recap the key highlights of the film. First off, this movie is based off of the true story of Jordan Belfort, who was a young stockbroker. He enters Wall Street full of ambition, only to see his career disappear after the 1987 stock market crash. He eventually discovers the world of penny stocks, which offered him extremely high commissions and an opportunity for exploitation, allowing him to rise to success. Jordan creates Stratton Oakmont, a brokerage firm built on fraud, where high-pressure sales tactics and pump-and-dump schemes become the norm. As his wealth grows, Jordan indulges in an increasingly excessive lifestyle of drugs, lavish parties, and overall reckless behavior. Eventually, his actions attract the attention of the FBI, leading to his downfall. These moments are critical to understanding how criminological theories explain Jordan's choices and their broader implications. Some themes and highlights from the film include the deviancy of Stratton Oakmont, shown through the amount of drugs and strippers, the greed of Jordan Belfort, who was willing to throw away his morals in order to be rich, and the power of manipulation and lying in order to take advantage of people. The film presents a world where the pursuit of money eclipses morality, with characters consistently crossing ethical lines to achieve their desires. Deviancy is depicted through the relentless disregard for legal and moral boundaries. Belfort and his colleagues engage in fraudulent practices such as pump and dump schemes, manipulating the stock market for personal gain. They break the law with impunity, often with a sense of entitlement, believing they are above consequences. Greed is a central motivator in the film. Belfort's insatiable desire for wealth and status fuels his unethical behavior. The extravagant lifestyle, filled with drugs, parties, becomes a symbol of his corrupted ambition. The more he gains, the more he craves, showcasing the destructive power of unchecked greed. Manipulation and power plays a key role in Belfort's success. He manipulates others into participating in his schemes, preying on their desires for wealth and status, while convincing them that they are a part of an exclusive and successful world. His charm and charisma are tools for controlling both his clients and his employees, pushing them into further and unethical, illegal actions. Ultimately, The Wolf of Wall Street exposes how deviancy, greed, and the power of manipulation creates a toxic cycle, driving individuals to betray their morals for fleeting success, all while maintaining the illusion of power and happiness. Now, what is strain theory? Let's examine. Strain theory explains how the desire to achieve goals such as wealth can lead people to act deviantly when normal means are not as successful. One key element of strain theory is innovation, where individuals turn to illegitimate means to achieve these goals. In Jordan's case, the strain is evident after the 1987 stock market crash. Faced with financial problems and blocked opportunities, he pivots to penny stocks, exploiting an unregulated market to build his fortune. Stratton Oakmont becomes a culture of innovation in the deviant sense, encouraging fraud and manipulation and lying as normal business practices. Strain theory also explains Jordan's personal behavior, such as his drug use, which serves as a coping mechanism for the psychological pressure of maintaining his fraudulent empire. Ultimately, the glory that society puts on him of his material success fuels his behavior, reflecting how strain can drive individuals towards unethical decisions. Next up, labeling theory. Labeling theory describes how the labels that are put on them by society tend to lead to them acting certain ways. Labeling theory, which focuses on how societal reactions and labels influence individuals' identities and behaviors. Labeling theory suggests that deviance is not inherent, but rather the result of society's thoughts to an individual's actions. In Jordan's case, his initial fraudulent activities were acts of deviance. However, societal responses, including the glamorization of his wealth and lifestyle through interviews and media, reinforced his identity as a rule-breaking success story. This label encouraged further deviance as he fully embraced the role of a fearless and financial genius, also being called the Wolf of Wall Street. The FBI investigation and legal consequences further solidified his label as a criminal, influencing his behavior during and even after his conviction. Even in his post-conviction life, Jordan struggles with shedding this label as society continues to view him through the lens of his criminal past. Scholarly research supports these theoretical applications as well. First, Merton, is stressing that no behavior is inherently deviant. Deviance only exists because social rules exist. The same can be said of crime, which only exists because criminal laws exist. Those activities considered deviant in a particular society are not fixed, but alter over time, and similarly, there are differences between one society and another regarding what is considered to be deviant. For this reason, deviant behavior is not synonymous with, for example, perverted or unnatural or bad or immoral behavior. John Tierney makes the point that deviant behavior exists because of societal standards. Research on labeling theory demonstrates how societal reactions and labels can reinforce deviant identities, particularly in white-collar crime. These findings align directly with Jordan's journey from his initial turn to penny stocks to his embrace of his criminal label as a badge of honor. With strain theory, modern criminologists refer to Merton's explanation of criminal behavior as the strain theory, which assumes that people are law-abiding, but when under great pressure, they will resort to crime. Another quote says, "When individuals are socialized to accept the goals of material wealth and upward social mobility, but due to their disadvantaged economic position are unable to obtain the resources or means to achieve these goals, they may cope in several ways, some of which involve crime." It should be noted that Merton emphasized that the differential opportunity structure, not merely confined to economic opportunities, is the cause of strain rather than the cultural goals. These sources explain how many people experience strain in their lives, yet, unlike Belfort, many do not turn to crime or fraud to make up for it. Studies on strain theory highlight how societal emphasis on material success can push individuals in high-pressure industries towards deviance when legitimate means possibly fail. Onto the analysis. Regarding strain theory, for our first example, Jordan Belfort had been living with his wife in an apartment when he lost his job and experienced strain in his life during the 1987 market crash. This caused him to search for jobs which normally he would not even look at. Eventually, this led him to a shady stockbroker office that primarily dealt with penny stocks. Using his skills from Wall Street, he saw the potential of getting rich quick and resorted to fraud and lies in order to sell stocks at exorbitant prices. This piece of vital evidence shows strain theory at its clearest, where Jordan was struggling, and so he took matters into his own hands in order to claim his future wealth and societal positions. While he was struggling, he took matters into his own hands and understood what he had to do and turned to crime. This later translated into his business as well. For the second example for strain theory, he creates an entire script for his employees in Stratton Oakmont to follow, which consisted of nothing but lies in order to appeal to uneducated investors, causing his entire business to lie and manipulate people and their money. This actively shows how, now that he's successful, he is trying to maintain that success by resorting to even more fraud and manipulation, therefore committing even more crime. At this point into the movie, Jordan has dug himself too far into the rabbit hole of crime. Jordan's heavy reliance on drugs, for example, is also a sign of him being under massive strain in order to continue making money to feed his desires. His addiction to money and drugs feed each other, throwing him into an endless cycle of fraud and illegal schemes. He realizes how stressful it is being a criminal and turns to outlets to release his pent-up stress, resulting in him losing not one, but both of his wives due to his bad habits and his inconsistency in being a good husband. Another example, due to the amount of money he had, it made him feel like he had to spend it, which created the need to make even more money, which led to him creating even more schemes and enlarging the company as a total. A prime example of this is when he buys a boat and then attaches a helicopter to the boat, simply because he could and he had the money and the image necessary to pull it off. His overall success turned him into a sort of maniac who used his money to make more money so that he could continue his criminal activity, when in reality he could have just stopped. However, in order to fund his drug habits and in order to fund the prostitutes and the parties, he needed a source of income that would continue. And so in his eyes, there was no choice other than to continue his crime. Now regarding labeling theory. The first example I found within the movie was when he successfully acquired a $5,000 commission from a penny stock trade, which caused the people around him to look at him with shock and awe. They were amazed by his skills, which fed his ego of being an amazing salesman, which then spiraled into him creating his own business to indulge in his criminal activity even easier, sort of like a butterfly effect. By allowing his colleagues to fuel his ego, he found the willingness to continue to dupe and manipulate people so that he would feel successful. It was due to this that he continued his schemes and even taught others how to do it, as it made himself feel even more successful according to society and his overall character and image, at least in the eyes of the public. Another example of this is when he has an interview. In this interview, he is painted with a bad image, and because of it, he immediately gets angry. That is until he realizes how good it made him look in the eyes of other potential stockbrokers and how it could possibly even make him money. What he was mainly concerned about was how his image as a stockbroker could have been tarnished due to the media and the interviewer calling him evil. In the movie, he even lost his temper and showed his anger towards his wife, to which his wife replied with, "Not all publicity is bad publicity." Only the day after, he realized that his wife was speaking about the good publicity, which then even fueled his ego even more, pushing him to continue his lifestyle. Another example is when the FBI decides to investigate him. In their eyes, he is a criminal, whereas in Belfort's eyes, he is simply a successful businessman. He does not actively think of himself as anything other than a businessman until after he meets with the FBI agents. Only then does he start internationally committing fraud with the Swiss bank in order to protect himself. This label of being a criminal finally stuck in his mind, and so he outwardly showed it and stuck to it by constantly trying to evade them. Then, towards the end of the movie, when Belfort is threatened with 20 years in jail, he is offered a chance to become a rat and get time reduced from his sentence. This opportunity showed how easily he is influenced by what people think of him. He originally was not going to rat out his people. However, after being caught the second time, the threat of going to jail caught up to him. He realized that no one on Wall Street is a friend. He realizes that all that matters is his image to himself, and so he gives everyone up in order to save himself, showing just how selfish he was the entire time, even giving up his best friend. In conclusion, the film illustrates how societal pressures and reactions play a significant role in shaping criminal behavior. In my opinion, to address the issues raised by The Wolf of Wall Street, I propose strengthening regulations in financial markets to prevent exploitation and reduce strain on individuals in high-pressure environments. I believe with a stricter regulation on banking and any other sort of financial institution, he could have been caught much faster, lessening the damage on the economy and the people he affected. Through this, there could have also been a better program in order to help people that are struggling in the first place. For example, if he was not experiencing the financial strain that pushed him towards crime, then he might not have even pursued a life of crime in the first place, and he could have possibly stuck to an honest life. I believe by creating a system in which all money is able to be kept under watch, situations like Jordan Belfort's would be less likely to happen. This solution in my opinion, also aligns with the insights from strain theory and labeling theory, addressing both the structural and societal factors that fuel all white-collar crime. This was my presentation. Thank you for listening.